I hope you're ready because today we have lots of speakers here to talk about all things personal health and well-being. First of all, we have our very own MSFDN member, Raz, here to talk about all things MSFDN and answer all your questions at the end.
After Raz, we have David Fraser here to talk about success with mental health. He's a qualified therapist with lots of experience.
Right after that, we have Rafaela here to discuss the world of food on a budget. She is going to show us how to make amazing recipes and meals on a low budget. So this will be great for all the students we have here today, and you may want to grab your pencil.
Then we have Natasha here to show us how to get our glow. She's going to take us through her morning and nighttime skincare routine and talk about why it's important to take care of yourself in this way for your mental well-being.
And to finish off the day, we will have Chianne here with us today, who is going to share the art of journaling. She will be explaining to us how to start and how to start journaling and how to get involved, and it will be good for your mental well-being.
So as you can see, we have a jam-packed day full of everything you might need to develop personally and level up, because here at MSFDN we care about your personal, professional and creative development.
So before we go any further today, I want to remind everyone here that we need to be very respectful to the people who have taken their Friday off to share the information with you today. So please keep your microphones on mute throughout the seminar.
Please remember the seminar will be opened up to questions at the end of each segment. So if you have a question, please use the chat function to ask a question and the speaker will address you.
If you do have a question during the segment, then please hold it off until the end when you get the 5-minute Q&A and the speaker will address you then.
Now, without further ado, please let me introduce Raz here to deliver MSFDN Explained.
What's going on, guys? Obviously, I'm Raz. And basically, long story short, I'm here today to talk about my experience in the past with MSFDN. And long story short, what it means to me to do the things that I did in regards to my music back in the day. I'm going to start from the very beginning, obviously, because it's just a whole lot easier for you guys to understand the latter if I talk about what had happened before. So I think I was around the age of I think I was around 16 at the time. And basically I had been doing music from I was like 10, 11 years old. So I got quite fond towards the music that I was making. And I had a lot of good opportunities at my school, thank God. And long story short, I ended up being able to get into a talent competition at the office we're actually in right now, but the studio they have downstairs. And it was a wicked opportunity for me at the time, you know. Like I was just able to sit there and be like, right, I know how to make music, but do I know how to perform? Do I know how to present? Do I know how to be entertaining, engaging? You know, all of those things needed to sort of culminate into the things that makes an artist rather than just being someone who can rap, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I went in and if I'm being honest, it wasn't the best performance I could have ever done. But if I'm also being honest, it wasn't exactly bad. It was sort of in the middle for me, you know? Like I went in and I did have a really great time and it was an experience that I can look back on and be like, yeah, that was fun. But it's also one of those things where I'm like, cool, I know where I went wrong in that particular situation. But even regardless of that, right, this is where MSFDN sort of stepped in for me a little bit because one of the members of the senior team was at that talent show and basically came in and was like, hi, Raz, like, your performance was wicked kind of thing. And was like to me, right, we want to get you onto a little project we've got going on. And it's going to be with like different artists, different creatives, etc., etc. Now, the reason why that sounds mad for me at the age of like 16 is because I ain't never done that before. My music only solely went to me getting into writing in my bedroom, listening to J. Cole or something and then gaining inspo. Do you know what I mean? And where I had been given an opportunity to perform, I'm now being given an opportunity to work with other artists. So it's like, it was a stepping stone that without it, I wouldn't have known what I was doing. Do you know what I mean? And so I went in, I think this was like a week later from when I was in conversation with that member. And I think, to be honest, like my first impressions was, wow, do you know what I mean? Like I was with dancers, I was with singers, I was with videographers, I was with editors, I was with rappers, I was with producers, I was with mixers. And it's like, I ain't never been in a room with this many creatives that are just like me. Do you know what I mean? Like they have the same drive, same passion, and the same focus, because we was all supposed to focus on making tracks with each other or having backing dancers in the songs. So we all just really worked together to create something. And I can't lie, like there's a few things that I know in myself I took from that experience. And I'd say the first thing was being able to say, right, I actually am understood by other people, because when you're young, yeah, when you're actually properly young and you're making music and you're trying to understand who the hell you are when you're doing something like that, or any creative, anybody under the sun that wants to do anything creative, the most important thing is believing in yourself, yeah, that what you're doing makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like you are accepted, like you're half decent, because otherwise, like if anyone in the world tells you that when they're making creative work, they don't want to appease others, they're lying. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone wants someone to be able to listen or look or, you know, understand what they've done and look back and say, yeah, that was cool. So that acceptance of being like, I was in a room with people who do what I want to do was wicked for me at that time. Do you know what I mean? Like looking back now, if I didn't have that opportunity, I probably wouldn't be able to make music at the level that I do now, you know? And I'd say like the second thing was the broadness of it. Like there were so many different types of people in that one room. You know, when I say I ain't never had a backing dancer, do you know what I mean? And having that opportunity to have someone there who does something completely different to what I do, but they get my vibe and they're actually trying to make something with me. It was like, raw, like that's mad. Because I never had thought that far at such a young age. I never thought, oh, this music can go further than just what I'm making. It's probably going to go to the people that might not even be making the same stuff as me, but we can still connect. And that taught me how to connect with artists. Like right now, I'm connecting with different singers, rappers, producers all over the country, you know? And it's like, if I didn't have that initial push to be like, yeah, connect with these people, get to know them and, you know, learn to create something with them, I couldn't say that I would be able to do that as effectively as I do right now, you know? But I want to get into a bit more about what actually ended up happening. So in that whole, I think it was like 2 weeks that we was making music together, I had like 3 tracks that were made with singers and artists and etc. And then we went out and we even filmed them. So that was my first ever taste of recording a music video, you know what I mean? Where I'm actually there and I'm rapping what I've made in front of a camera. And bruv, like when you say that you need confidence to be instilled in you, sometimes you need to be forced. Because personally, I'm a bit camera shy, you know what I mean? I never used to like cameras at a young age, and just being an artist and being like, oh, I know I'm gonna have to hop on a camera sometime, but can I do it? That was a good push as well, because it's like I'm not doing it by myself, I'm doing it with other guys and girls who ain't done the same thing. Do you know what I mean? So we're all sort of stepping into the deep end a little bit, but with a group. So we're also confident. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, man, like that was something big for me as well, because I hadn't been able to do that in the past and sit there and be like, cool, I've got this group of people that I'm working with and we're actually going over boundaries with each other, you know? Like, it's so much easier we all know it's so much easier to have 20 people trying to help you do something than you do it on your own, you know? And that was a big thing as well. But the whole thing sort of came to an end, really, when we all had these tracks produced and we put them out on the MSFDN site, and I got exposure, you know? Like, I actually got to see myself through the eyes of other people commenting on it, saying, yeah, that's sick. Like, and even though I had done talent competitions and things like that, like I had never had someone look at my work on the web and be like, yeah, that's actually cool. Like, I like what you're doing. And I can't even tell you what that was like, man. That's like your first second of fame, you know? And it's not even just about the fame. It's about someone connecting with what it is you're doing. That's the most important thing for me personally with my music, is having someone sit there and be like, yeah, I like that, you know? So having that opportunity and just being able to see the benefit of it or what happens after was also important. And like, even to today, like I still talk to half of the people that I was working with on all of those projects. So like, just to round off all of what I was saying, I would say basically like having that opportunity to sit there and work with different kinds of artists and sort of like get an understanding of, right, who am I, what kind of music do I want to make, and where do I want to go with it, and having that help from, you know, Michael Streete Foundation in the past, and even working with them now, like, I can't say that it wasn't helpful for me to do that in the past, because now I understand what I'm doing with myself now, you know? And it's like, nobody really forgets you when you do something good like that. When you help someone out, or when you make music with them, when you connect, there's always going to be a friendship there. I could always call any of those people and say, look, I'm trying to do an EP now. I'm trying to make some music, and do you want to be a part of it? And if they have the time, they're not going to say no, because we've had a good connection and we've grown together through music. So that friendship thing means a lot to me, you know? Like, even when I was in school, I found it kind of hard to, like, find people who would make the same kind of music as me, because we all know, like, everyone likes the genre, man. It's all about, ooh, what kind of music is everyone listening to? Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. But it's like, when you're an artist, that's not how you live. That's not how you move. That's not how you want to be. Like, when you make music, you make what you enjoy, and you sort of hope that other people get it as well. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah, man, like, just being able to sit in that room and gain friends who understood their craft is what they care about, rather than just listening to a song, means a lot more to me. Like, and it's definitely about, like, what it would have done for me 10 years in time if I hadn't have done that stuff in the past. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? I was 16 then, I'm 21 now. And I can definitely tell you that in this present day and age, it made such a big impact on me, you know? Like, I know how to structure songs. I never knew that before. Like, I had to be able to understand, right, what is a 16 bar? How do you put your music into coordination? How do you get your message out there without losing the sound? And all of those things. And yeah, like, it was so impactful for me, man. Just being able to see what will happen if I put a lot of energy into my music and actually have someone push you. You know, in the future, I hope that all of the work that I did with MSFDN doesn't go to waste. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like it, you know, because all of that stuff is still benefiting me now. And, you know, with music, I'm starting to level up more. I'm starting to understand myself more. And it's a lot about personal growth. But I will get onto that. I'll get a bit more onto the topic of how does music help me in, like, how I deal with my personal self day to day. But in regards to MSFDN, just to round off that, it's like, cool. I got that opportunity and it's helped me as a person. You know what I mean? Like, being able to work with people and see where they're going and see how they can help me and see how I can help them. It's an important part of life, let alone music, you know, being able to collab with people and understand people and grow with them. That was important for me. You know, I'd say that's probably the biggest part of what it was like working for Michael Streete Foundation in the past with that thing. But I do want to kind of move on, because I feel like I'm talking about this a lot, and I want to talk about why it's important in the first place, you know? Like, why was it important for me to be able to understand the kind of music that I wanted to make, and even make music in the first place? And it's kind of personal, I can't lie. Like, the whole reason why I started making music, it will explain why that opportunity was so important for me. So, boom, I was 9 years old, from Southeast London, living in Woolwich at the time. And if I'm being deadly honest, like, the upbringing weren't great. Do you know what I mean? Like, is it great for anyone from Southeast London in the suburbs? Hardly nobody. Do you know what I mean? And from the way that I grew up, I sort of realized a few things, like the area I'm in, the school I went to, the way I was brought up. Like, thank God my parents did a good job, but the area didn't. You know what I mean? And I ended up being given less from the society I was in. Do you know what I mean? And that, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, man. Like, the way that we grow up isn't defined by what our family's like half the time. It's about what it's like when you step out of your home. Do you know what I mean? And I was 9 years old in an area that really wasn't great. And I know that that sort of made me feel anxious about whether or not I was good enough, because I see so many people getting opportunities in the world, even at a young age, watching TV shows with people the same age as me having such a brilliant life, and I was in this area that's not great. Like, it wasn't nice, do you know what I mean? So I was a lot more anxious. I wouldn't say depressed, but I was definitely anxious from a young age about whether or not I am good enough. And that's not right, you know what I mean? I shouldn't have been like that, but what can you do, innit? That's how I felt at a young age. And I went into secondary school with that kind of mentality. And now, secondary school, yeah, I'll be honest, like, it doesn't matter what school you go to, it's a dog-eat-dog world in those schools. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people that want to be cool and want to be at the top and want to be accepted and respected and admirable and favorable and all these things. But it's like, if you aren't like that, if you haven't got a backbone to be in that sort of world, you're kind of going to get swept under the rug. You know what I mean? So I found like from long time since I started secondary school, I didn't really have a voice with everyone. You know what I mean? Like I was sort of ignored quite a lot, even by teachers, because I wasn't a very chatty person, believe it or not. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I didn't find myself being in those groups in a large way. And that sort of cast a shadow on me in a way that even if I say it, it doesn't make, like, I can't explain it well enough, because it was like, yeah, I've grown up and life ain't been great from the jump. Now I'm trying to make friends in school and it isn't really going well. So it's like, who am I? An identity crisis. That's the best way to explain it. And like, what I was going through year 8, and I found that I was spending a lot of time in the music room, and I have this teacher, I still even remember his name. It was Gary Dennis, my music teacher in school. And he was always trying to push me, because, like, you know, your teachers always know everything about you. Like, they always know. So he sort of sat down and he was like, Raz, like, I can tell there's something always bothering you. Do you know what I mean? But you need to find a release. You need to find a way to let that out so you can feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Because I was actually quite honest with him a lot. And, you know, like, told him everything that was going on, kind of thing. And I said to him, like, I used to like to rap when I was younger, like when I was 9. It was only a funny thing back then, but it was fun for me, do you know what I mean? And it was a release. So he said to me, why don't you try that again? Just try and make some music, or just try and express your feelings a little bit, do you know what I mean? So I started listening to a lot of the artists that I was listening to at a young age. So that was like the J. Cole's, really, J. Cole, I would say, out of all, definitely him. Because I felt like what he was doing was he was depicting a lifestyle that a lot of people didn't understand because they weren't in his shoes. But you started to once you listened to him. And I felt like, yeah, I need to do that. I need to let people understand how I feel. Because I can't say it with words. So I might as well do it with how I act, you know what I mean? So I started to like write bars basically, and I was finding myself getting a lot of lyrics written down and just trying to express myself, and it actually went quite well. Like I remember the first time I ever actually realized, yeah, this is something I'm quite good at, was I was in my music class, and they always had this thing where people come up and present their music, and all the boys was always writing bars. So they was like, yeah, I'm the hardest. And I remember whispering in the back of the room, I was like, come on, man. And then one of the guys was laughing. He was like, what do you mean? Like, are you any better? Because at this time, no one knew. So I was like, nah. Like, I was trying to put it off. And long story short, I went up there and I rapped one of my things, and everyone was like, there's no way you just did that. You're sick. And I found that people were listening to me. And that was the first change. It was like, rah, like, this music, it's making sense for me. Like, people are listening to what I have to say. Do you know what I mean? And that was I think that was where, like, the first time you know when you know you have a sort of destiny with something and it just clicks. That was the click. It was like, okay, so I can actually do this properly. And I took a lot of time out of my day. You know, I spent a lot more time in the music rooms, and I think if I fast forward now like 5 years, I've gotten to a point where it's not effortless, but it's a whole lot more enjoyable. Like, there isn't a mountain to climb when it comes to expressing my feelings through music. And I'll be honest, like, the benefits, insurmountable. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't explain how beneficial it is to be able to put your feelings into an art form and show people. Because it's like art. If you look at a picture, you're never going to be able to say what that picture means to every single person in the world. But you know 100% the image that someone was trying to give you with that. Do you know what I mean? That's the reality of it. Like, it's the freedom. You know, in this world, we ain't free, man. Like, we've all got things that we have to do in our day. Time controls everything. We all have problems, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, for me, when I'm writing something, when I'm rapping, that time stops. Because I've got the freedom to do what I want on that page, and no one can dictate it except me. Do you know what I mean? And when people actually listen, and they've got a chance to listen to what you're saying and actually take it in and go, yeah, that's hard, bro. Or go, that's really cool, man. Like, I like that. That's the empowerment in it. That's the fact that you've made an effect on someone's life through what you've just said. I mean, it's like poetry. Like, I can't lie, I even used to like poetry when I was in school as well, in English lit and that. But yeah, like, before I round this off, I want to talk about a few things, just like the benefits of me making my music and what it's sort of done for me. Because I've said it in the long terms, but I just want to give you guys some quick points. So I'd say like the first thing would be, obviously the easiest thing to explain is the effect on my emotional state. You know, like I was saying, like I was very anxious, I was very worried, I felt like I was never heard, and you know, like you get into a very negative mindset when you feel like you ain't really got a voice out here, and you can't really express how you feel because in a like even though it is bad, but in a man's world sometimes you do feel like you can't talk, and that's terrible. You know, like we should be able to say how we feel, but for me at a young age, I didn't want to appear weak or I didn't want to appear like I can't say how I feel. So I didn't really talk. But then in my music, that's a way of empowerment. So it was like, yeah, I can actually say how I feel and people are going to listen to me. Do you know what I mean? And they're probably going to respect it. So it was that really got rid of my anxiety. It made me feel more confident in my own skin. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Like I'm good at what I do and I'm proud of it. Like I weren't the best football player. I weren't the best at sports. I weren't the best at fitness, whatever. And I had that. So it was like, yeah, I'm cool with this. So that was the first thing. I think the second thing was it's mad educational, you know, like it teaches you a lot about yourself when you try and make a tune, you know. And I feel like that's like people tell me all the time, oh, I don't really listen to a lot of music like that, and I understand that, but you see, making music is a whole different ballgame because you learn so much about who you are. I feel like in this world there's such a discrepancy for people as in regards to understanding their own identity, you know what I mean? And like if you don't really know yourself, I guarantee you 1,000,000%, you try and make a song and you're gonna find out more about yourself than you thought you knew. Because you can't just fake it. You know what I mean? Like you have to put a lot of you into making a song that you feel is worthy. Like every single person out here that's made a song that is on the charts, they put their soul into it. You know what I mean? And I think that's an important thing. Is for me, it was like, right, I have to understand who I am. I can't just tell people willy nilly. Like I have to let them know who am I, what am I trying to say, and what am I trying to express to these people. Otherwise, they're not going to bother listen. You know what I mean? So that in itself was the first thing where I was like, yeah, like I know who I am, or at least I'm getting there. You know, we never really truly know ourselves, but at least that made it a little bit easier for me to get there. So I'll say that's the second thing. And like, if I'm being real, like the third thing I'd say is probably just the fact that it opened me to a door of life that wouldn't have been open otherwise, you know? Like having the ability to be able to sit there and make music opens you to an avenue you ain't gonna see unless you try, you know? Like I started off trying to make, you know, brand music, and then I got into a bit more of UK hip hop, and then I went and I dabbled in a bit of drill music because I enjoy it, you know what I mean? And now I'm sitting in a place where it's like, ooh, I know, I know, I understand this genre, I understand that one, and I understand that one, you know? I've met so many people because of that. Night nights, freestyle sessions, ciphers, studio sessions, recording, all of those things. And it's like now I sort of feel like I'm part of a community. You know what I mean? A community of people that really do love what they do. And that is impactful. You know? I'm without that, I would have felt a lot more locked out from a lot of things because like I was saying, I wasn't exactly good at a lot of things. I was alright in English, weren't so great at maths. I was really bad at sports because all the boys, they've really excelled at sports, and you know, I wasn't really one of those kind of boys, but I was very creative, you know, and that was what held Chianne to me, you know, and I felt like, yeah, like I actually have a community here who understands me, and I can make music with these kind of people and I can really enjoy it, you know? And I'd say like that is definitely the most important thing for me was I felt like I wasn't alone, you know? And feeling alone is one of the worst things. So being able to express yourself through music and stop that from happening was wicked, man. But yeah, do you know what? I think I'm gonna round it off there, guys, because I've been rambling But I do want to ask you guys if you have any questions about any of that. Shoot, go right ahead.
I'm actually struggling to find the button to raise my
Sorry,
hand.
Asil, I can't actually hear you.
I said I couldn't find the button to raise my hand, to be honest. Wait. But anyway, I'll just ask the question, yeah?
Sorry, my bad. Sorry, say that again. I didn't even realize the sound was down a bit.
Sorry, I was saying I couldn't raise my hand for some reasons, but I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So, like, you know, do you have like any plans to work with MSFDN in the future since you've already done competition and stuff?
Yeah, of course, man. Like I was saying, like where I was able to work with them in the past and sort of get an understanding of what kind of music I'm on that I want to make, and they sort of help me do that. I would definitely be down to work with them in the future and see where it can take me, because MSFDN stands for the idea of, yeah, we help young people with their creative, professional, or personal. You know what I mean? And with my creative, they genuinely did help me. You know, like they helped me understand which avenue I want to go into and how to push it and how to market myself. You know, so definitely, man. Like if the opportunity was there, I would take it. Anyone else?
You got a question in the chat.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah. Yeah, so it says, do you think that people that don't want to make music can still work with MSFDN? Well, yeah, obviously, definitely. Because, like I was saying, MSFDN ain't just a brand that focuses on music or creative. They help people with professional goals and personal goals in life as well. You know, like MSFDN has various different companies that they have as clientele that they try and help people get apprenticeships with and organize themselves and better themselves. So it's like you can't. I would definitely say yeah. Like obviously it's good that I was making music and they could help me in the past. You know what I mean? But like the fact that that happened, and I know now that the avenue is so much wider. If I wanted to do something completely different, they would still help me with that. You know what I mean? Like that's MSFDN, and that's sort of what they stand for. So definitely, there is another one. It says, "How many songs do you write weekly?" I can't lie, that changes, man. That changes completely because I don't ever write the same thing all the time. You know, like I'll write a certain amount this week, and then if I feel like it's always based on feeling, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't necessarily write a certain amount, but I do try and stick to at least writing one thing because there's always something I want to say if you guys can't tell. But yeah, I'm gonna yeah, if you guys, oh wait, no, there is one more question. Yeah, so do you have any future plans to work with big music presenters such as GRM Daily or yeah, of course, man. Like GRM, that's like the cream of the crop, do you know? So if I was able to work with them, it would be sick for me because it would mean, right, I've got that recognition on a large scale. Like I'm not there yet, definitely not. But if I could, I would definitely do that because it just means that I've gotten to a part of the platform that I want to get to, you know, and I can just reach more people with my music. So why not? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Before I head off, is there any more questions that you guys want to ask me? No? Come back. I can't lie. If you want that, it'll have to be after this, man. But I definitely wouldn't actually mind doing that. Yeah. But for now, guys, we're actually gonna head off onto a little bit of a short break. I just want to say thank you to you guys for listening because it's been wicked talking. But yeah, we're gonna have a little break now, so we will be back.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah.
No worries, man.
If you could mute one of the mics, yeah.
That was really
Thanks, guys. I can't lie.
everyone, we hope you're back from your break nicely and grabbed yourself a cup of tea. What a great start this has been. And now we are so happy to introduce our other guest, David Fraser. If he is ready to speak, we'd love to have you on.
Yep.
Hello and welcome.
Hello. Hi. Great to see you all.
If you'd like to kick it off and get started, that's absolutely great.
Okay, just to let you know that when I share my screen, I won't be able to see any faces, so I'll be pretty much talking to a PowerPoint.
That's absolutely fine.
But at the end, I will then be able to see your faces. So, shall I share my screen now? Yeah, with you. Okay. And let me know if you can see the slide. All right.
Yep, that's perfect.
Yep, it's working.
Is that good? Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Bit strange for me, but all right. Okay, so introduction about myself. My name's David Fraser. I'm a qualified therapist, and I have over 5 years of experience working within mental health. That's working with children, families, and adolescents. I'm currently working privately for the council and also for an organisation called Place to Be. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of it, but I can't see you, so I'm just going to keep talking. All right. So mental health. I get asked a lot in my profession, how can I improve my mental health? People come to me for guidance, advice, and support. So when I'm asked this question, I will then ask, okay, so what do you currently have in place? What are you doing, and what's your understanding of mental health? And I get obvious responses such as, I know about self-caring, I go for walks, perhaps I ensure I do something fun, and I spend time with a lot of people. And while these stuff are all great, I also kind of look for, what is your relationship like with yourself? Now, when I ask that question, some might get confused and think, relationship with myself, what do you mean? But that question's to to jog their mind, get them to think about, okay, when I mean relationship with yourself, how much do you know about yourself? Are you attuned with your body? Are you attuned with your mind? Do you know how you feel? Do you connect with how you feel around friends when you're left alone? Because we get so distracted and we get so busy with everyday life that sometimes we forget to check in with ourselves. Because if we truly want to make changes and improve our mental health, then it kind of starts with self. It starts with what you know about yourself. Okay. So within practice, I mean, if you go to counseling, the aim is always to build that self-awareness. It's always what's left, what the client leaves with is a kind of deeper understanding of their self. So for me, the key to taking care of your mental health and well-being begins with self-awareness. The other stuff are good, the self-caring and activity, writing journals, diaries, but it really begins with, how well do you know yourself? How well are you attuned with yourself? What is self-awareness? Self-awareness is a form of stepping back and observing your thoughts and feelings as they unfold. And then there's a definition. Self-awareness is the ability to focus on yourself and how your actions, thoughts, or emotions do or do not align with your internal standards. And I love this second definition, because the first one, many people grasp that. But the second one, as a therapist, when it says align with your internal standards, it makes me think about how authentic you are, how congruent you are. Because we change as we grow, our minds and our values change because as we're growing up as children, we kind of cling to the values of our parents, of our families, of the cultures within our home. But then as we get older and we start to find our own circles outside of our family, we might not always agree with the values or the standards that was set. We begin to think differently. And sometimes it's that self-awareness, by tuning into it, that we realize, actually, I don't stand for that anymore. I don't agree with that. I'm not going to bury that down and because this is what my family says. Or in worst cases, you don't agree with what your family believes, but you kind of bury down your true beliefs. More things that you've learned and more things that you now value and that you stand for. Is self-awareness necessary? Well, yes, self-awareness is very necessary. As I said at the start, it's the start of change. It's a start to making change and growth. We need to be aware of ourselves in order to know what it is we want to change. Because, sorry, I just made a bit of notes, so if I look down. But because, so the opposite of self-awareness will be a lack of understanding about your emotions. So when we have a lack of understanding about our emotions, that's when we then could develop unhealthy coping habits, mechanisms, ways of coping. But because we don't understand, we're doing something that, again, might not align with what we believe. We might not agree with what we're doing, but we understand enough that it helps me deal with something. I'm in a bit of conflict because I've got this habit that I'm doing to deal with something, but not too sure what that is. But all I know is I'm going to stay where I am. And it's that lack of understanding, that avoidance. Okay, my cat, if you see that avoidance, that disconnect again from feeling within your body as well, which is very important sometimes to connect, because sometimes we develop unhealthy habits also to relieve our bodies of stuff we're feeling. So it's not in our minds. We might not know why we have this habit, but actually I need to relieve myself of what I'm feeling. So I need to do something physical. And that's why we need that awareness. It also helps us to stop beating ourselves up with things that we're using to cope, with things that we're unaware of about ourselves. Can have more self-compassion if we only have more self-awareness. How can you begin to become more self-aware? So the ability is, because it's a skill, it's really, something that apparently I've got that skill, obviously, but it's something that you have to learn. And when you embrace it and you begin to learn it, it can be actually a really, really powerful skill. It can bring that success in your life. So it is something sometimes that you have to begin to learn and be comfortable and brave and courageous within learning it. So you can begin to gain more insight, into your internal world, I like to say. And I would say, when I use the word internal world, that it would be good exercise as well to go away and think, what does that mean for me? That's even a self-awareness reflection right there. Words like that, what do they invoke in you? What images come into your mind when you hear the word inner workings, internal world? Because that's inside. For me, when I became self-aware, I really love nature. I love spending time out in nature, the trees, all of that. So naturally, my internal world, when I closed my eyes and thought about it, it was a kind of vast greenery place with just, you know, greenery. It had a stream of river flowing down. But then I took it a step further to really explore this and really think about it, allowed it to come naturally. And it just grew this vision of what my internal world felt like and looked. It helped because I connected with nature anyway. So I was able to connect the sensations and the sensory feelings, if you like. So when it got dark, naturally that can symbolize maybe being a bit alone. But in this world, when it was light, it felt more in a positive place. But sometimes vice versa. Sometimes lightness ain't always something that symbolizes good, can bring a lot of anxiety. So yeah, I just say good exercises to really meditate on that, what you see when you think about your internal world. So, you know, back to where it says how to begin to become more self-aware. For instance, checking in with yourself a few times daily, noticing your mood, how you're behaving in response to this mood. What are the narratives playing out in your mind? So, okay, you've got a mood going on, something's happened. What is the narrative? Are you beating yourself up? Are you saying, oh, I'm so embarrassing, why did I do that? Oh, I'm just gonna push it aside. You know, what is the narrative? What is the thoughts that are coming alongside of this mood? The sensation that you notice in your body. Sometimes this anxiety, we can feel it in different ways. We can feel it in our stomachs, we can feel it sweaty palms, you know, or we can feel it in our tension in our back. So, you know, noticing where those sensations lie in your body. I might have to stop sharing the slide for a second because I think my earphones are going to stop. I'm going to cut out. Can you hear me all right? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
right,
we can hear you.
All right, let me know because I think it's dying. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Good. How to enhance your self-awareness. All right, so you've been checking in with yourself now and, you know, you're feeling, okay, yeah, I've checked in with myself a few times a week, seeing how I'm feeling. I want to take it a step further. Journaling. I tend to not journal, but I do like voice recording on my phone. I've got a load of voice files of specific times, not every occasion, but times on something that I think is quite significant to reflect on. But some people enjoy writing. Also, video recording is quite good as well because it really captures everything you're feeling in that moment, and sometimes reflecting on that and perhaps down the line how far you've come is actually really helpful sometimes. Meditation could be, you know, doesn't have to be maybe it could be any way you can meditate, you know, anywhere and any way what meditation is to you. You know, some people might not like silence, so it might be I can meditate alongside music. I can do it silently. You might want to do it with somebody, you know, so it's what you make it. Mindfulness, I love that, you know, that's part of what I do when I walk. Deep breathing, then starting my walk and really connecting with the elements from the standpoint of, I mean, I love when it's a muddy day. So I'm the opposite. It's not about the summer. It's actually when it's really muddy and raining. Because then, like, you know, I've got my boots on, my Wellingtons on, and for me, it's that sensory, that feeling, that squishing of the mud. Just really feeling grounded and connected in that moment. Bit of rain's good as well, you know, walking up a hill, but really something where I can really feel is what I enjoy within my mindfulness activities. Obviously speaking to somebody is really important. Someone we trust, someone that we know as well will really listen to us, understand where we're coming from, and also reflecting to us. Seeing a therapist is a great way to build self-awareness. That's what we do. You know, the skills, the techniques that we have helps to really allow somebody to really reflect and think in that moment of what they're saying, what they're presenting, and reflecting, mirroring back to them. You know, as a therapist, I had to go through counseling because part of the process was having that mirror turned back on yourself. So I would always advocate therapists. It's not for everybody to see a therapist, but it really is helpful. And I'll mention more about that later. Try new things, definitely. Comfort zones, right? If we're comfortable, then we learn more about ourselves when we step out and try new things. What comes to mind is you could be a very creative person, but you've perhaps never embraced the idea of doing something like going on an art course, or I don't know, something different to what you normally do. Cooking, something different, and you can actually really discover, actually, I don't know, I have a talent in this area because I'm so used to looking at my talent in this one area. You might not like holidays, and you go on holidays and you realize that you love it. So, trying new things is very important. Paying attention to dreams. I dream a lot, so this one's quite easy for me, but sometimes you can really find a message in a dream, and there's ways of helping yourself to understand your dreams. There's sources online that you can look up for dreams interpretation, but it's really good also because it just helps you to clarify stuff that you're feeling and grounds it, so that you realize, actually, this is what I was really feeling, because the dreams is, just so much interpretations, but it's the mind's way at the end of the day of really putting in the pieces of the puzzle together. So I find that quite fascinating personally. Taking risk, as I said, that's like trying new things. Allowing ourselves to fail. Again, we can learn a lot about ourselves by failing because if we're always succeeding, then we don't know how it feels to be on the other side. And I think that also, I think of having empathy for others and relating to other situations. And also, most importantly, it helps to build that resilience within us when we do fail. Sitting in stillness, I kind of mentioned that within the meditation and mindfulness. This is very crucial because, again, it goes back to that busyness of life and the distractions of our phones, people around us. And again, that just makes me think of avoidance sometimes when we're not able to sometimes to sit in stillness and really connect. So if you do want to get self-aware, you really do sometimes need to sit in stillness, sit in silence, and really just check in with yourself without distractions. It really does help. It takes courage, guys. It really does. It takes courage and it takes honesty. Again, I've worked with many clients, and it really is a hard process sometimes when you're learning things about yourself that you were unaware of, or maybe there are things that you are aware of, but you avoid thinking about. And I'm not talking about traumatic experiences. I'm just talking about even previous actions, just things about your character and personality. You might not be the most patient person, and you might be somebody that lacks patience, just for example, and you might not want to hear that. You might not want to connect with yourself to connect with the fact that maybe that is an area that could use some improvement. Learning to be a bit more patient, learning to be a bit more understanding. Sometimes we can be so black and white, and we can lack empathy, and sometimes even learning to have deeper empathy for other situations, taking on other perspectives other than our own. So, people sometimes begin a journey of self-awareness and then get to a point where the discomfort of it, causes them to kind of shy away from it. And then maybe that avoidance and that automatic thought of I'm fine the way I am and there's nothing I need to learn about myself. I know, those natural ways of guarding ourselves and protecting ourselves, because we don't like to feel pain as human beings. So naturally, our brain is always working to protect us from pain. That's why when you go on this path, you're telling your brain, actually, I'm ready to explore a bit more about myself. There's also that understanding of automatic thoughts, which I didn't mention earlier, but when we learn more about ourselves and we become more honest with ourselves, we can also challenge those thoughts. We can challenge maybe even negative thinking. We can become more controlled in our mindset and we can then essentially be able to regulate what we're feeling, challenge those thoughts when we take time to slow down. But as I said, it takes courage, it takes honesty, to go about this journey consistently as well. It's a way of life, it's a way of living as well. And also, as it says on this slide here, we can also experience a lack of frustration when we don't know how to go about this. So hopefully this slide can be very helpful to you all. Self-care. So going back to what I said initially, right, so I meet somebody and they say, I'm doing a load of self-care stuff, but I still feel stuck with where I am. How comes I can't get past it? I'm doing all the things that was told to us during COVID. We need to meet with people. We need to get out of the house. We need to put on fun stuff. We need to be smiling every day, put on our best music. I'm doing all of that, but things ain't changing in certain areas. I still got habits that I can't get rid of. I still got, I'm still not happy. There's an inner conflict within me. So when you begin this self-awareness, path of self-awareness, this journey of self-reflection, this is when the self-care, these things really are crucial. Because as I said before, when you are learning things about yourself that may be hard to accept, hard to wrap your mind around, you're going to need that self-compassion. You're going to need that self-care. You're going to need those activities, those new habits that you've been trying to gain a lot of reward from, then become very rewarding. It becomes rewarding being around friends that could tell you things that you don't tell yourself. Then going out and doing those activities, those meditation walks, what have you, whatever it is that you are doing, it then becomes more rewarding, because it's like, actually, I'm doing it for a reason, for a purpose. It's now helping me to really regulate and stay grounded in what I'm doing. My way of life is I'm constantly, sometimes sharing on my social media platforms, but this way of self-awareness and living, and when I really break it down to people, they get it. They get why, okay, I can see why you walk a lot, or why you need these times for yourself to really rebuild. It's because it's this part of self-awareness and living in this sense of self-awareness, why these things become very important to me. I've got an hour on a weekend when this is my hour to do what I'm doing. Not only because I'm a counselor, right, and I'm absorbing so many people's stories that either way I need to do these things as a way of self-care anyway, but it's also because I'm doing the work on myself too. So all of it really helps to rebuild me, rejuvenate me, and prepare me all over again for a brand new week, if you like. Benefits of self-awareness. This makes me think about the topic why I was called here to do this talk, and having success with self-awareness. I could tell you a bit about myself real briefly, but I studied quite later on in life. I didn't straight after school go into studying and embark on my passion of being a therapist. There was a lot of anxiety I suffered with. I had all these ideas and about how scary it could be, kind of feeling inferior to go on that path and do what I felt I really wanted to do, what I naturally had within me, this empathy and this wanting to help others, but in from a standpoint of a counsellor. So, I spent a lot of years in other professions, retail, which was very rewarding in itself because I love being alongside people, and the customer service element was great to my portfolio. And it was just, anyway, just it was just coming out even in retail, this empathy and just this kind of natural therapist, if you like. But there was just great fare. There was this great feeling of going down this route. And I've always been a self-reflective person, but I kind of didn't know how to move forward. And I'm sharing that with you because once I got on this path, once I confronted my fear, once I really became more self-aware and realized my triggers and what was standing in my way, these benefits that you see here, ring true to me. You have more self-control on this path. So for instance, with my anxiety, I started to realize, okay, how can I control this? What's actually going on for me when this happens? What is mine and what is not mine? Looking at the environment too, taking in consideration, okay, I might be feeling anxious in this setting because it can be an anxiety provoking setting. So kind of really just compartmentalizing everything and not just maybe being quite negative and hard on myself about it. So ever since I started this path, it's been, a few years now, that self-control rings true to me. And you do get more self-control because you know yourself a lot more better. You can preempt situations more better, increase ability to change habits. Definitely acknowledging the why behind your actions is very important. As I said earlier, if you do have habits to deal with certain behaviors, then it helps to know, okay, why am I doing this? And do I need to keep doing this? Is it still, because sometimes we can develop habits because it was useful at one point when we was younger. Maybe we needed to be more protective of ourselves. And then as we get older, we realize, actually, I don't need to be so protective. It's working against me now. I need to actually put myself more out there. So once you kind of understand, that's just an example, your habits, you can understand, you can look at it from another perspective and see, is it still helpful for me at this time? Why am I doing this? And what I can do to change it. Higher self-esteem naturally, because you begin to know your strengths and weaknesses, and then you can work on your weaknesses, but also accept that there are some weaknesses in your life, some limitations. You can't be good at everything, and that's fine. So you kind of have again, that self-compassion, that deeper understanding, which then you can be more comfortable and authentic and just love who you are. Essentially, it's that self-love. Better overall perspective. Sometimes this makes me think about how, if we have gone through something quite difficult, sometimes it helps to see other perspectives, and we can have a biased perspective sometimes, and it doesn't mean that we're not entitled maybe to see things from a certain way, but it can kind of be freeing when we do have an overall perspective and understanding things from different standpoints, to at least free us from a situation and reading things from other standpoints and not being kind of biased in your standpoint, your view, sorry. And as I said, ability to influence outcomes. That's, like I said, building a kind of positive dialogue within your mind, being prepared, knowing yourself, okay, right, I know what thoughts are going to kick in when I do certain things. Maybe doing a presentation, if you're quite nervous in doing those, then it's like, I need to speak to my mind and get my mind in check, having more control in that area. You can influence the outcome, at least be more prepared for it. Decrease of stress. It is less, life would always be stressful. That's just how it is, especially unforeseeable circumstances. But when you have certain tools to deal with stress, and they're ingrained within you, healthy habits. I'm not even just talking about going on a walk, because sometimes you can't do that in a situation, but at least breathing, talking to yourself, talking yourself out of a situation, deep breathing, something of that kind, but whatever works for you, then you know, you might lean on religious practice, you might pray, you might have a psalm or something, you know, in your mind, whatever it may be. But when you've got that kind of habit ingrained and it's something that works for you, then that emotional resilience can build, and then you can manage stress a lot more better. This one's very important, when to seek support. So I've told you a lot about kind of stepping into your mind and doing a work kind of internally within yourself. But it's not always easy. You know, it's not easy for some. It's not easy when we have experienced trauma. Especially some very deep, painful traumas that we need perhaps our coping mechanisms to survive. And it could be to begin to do a self-awareness journey could be quite, you know, it might just be out of the picture for some people because they need those distractions. Sitting alone in stillness is just too, you know, it evokes too much emotions, and then that's when that situation comes in when it's hard to regulate. So of course, if you have experienced deep trauma, then, and you can't, you know, the idea of doing something like this is definitely too painful or too scary to do, too frightening. You will need probably some support. You will know if you need support, but I would definitely advise that you seek some kind of support. Just somebody to be alongside you, a therapist, counselor, you know, somebody to be able to help you co-regulate what you're feeling, because that's what it is, a kind of co-regulation, kind of helping you within those moments, supporting you along this path, you know, so that you don't feel like you're in it alone. And that's when I'll say it's really necessary to seek support. If you do, especially if you are struggling, I keep saying, speaking about habits, but that's my line of work. You know, I do meet a lot of people who want to break certain habits and improve their mental health. You know, they have dreams and aspirations, but there's things that are standing in their way, whether it be imposter syndrome, you know, negative self-beliefs, you know, lack of confidence, stemming back to maybe early traumas or parenting, what have you. So you might need some support in that area. You will need psychoeducation, you know, someone to perhaps educate you on understanding what happens in the human brain when we experience certain things. It all starts with awareness. Within that awareness and that psychoeducation, then you can apply it to your own life. But as I said, it's helpful sometimes to have someone on that path with you. So I think that's a good place where to seek support. I'm not sure if I sped through this quite quick, but if you have any questions, I would love to hear them.
I tried to raise my hand with this, but can't see on the camera. But yeah, basically, got a few questions. So, you know, you're talking about a lot about the habits, and I wanted to know, like, your opinion on like, does the habits make the mental health, or does the mental health make the habits?
So the habits can bring about perhaps inner conflicts with yourself. It can bring about negative self-beliefs if it's habits that you find to be bring about a lack of motivation. You know, sorry, 1 second, this cat can bring about a lack of motivation depending on what the habit is. I mean, just say I'll just use smoking. Not that that's a bad thing for, I mean, yeah, but just say, you know, you're someone maybe that smokes a lot, but you do it because you're anxious. But you don't like smoking. You don't want people to see you smoking. You know, maybe that inner conflict, dealing with that can bring about mental challenges. You know, that inner conflict, that incongruence, that feeling that, why am I doing this? I don't like, you know, and then you might be worried about your health. So I would say to that question, that the habit, depending on the habit, yeah, it might not be necessary anymore. You know, it can stand in the way of building resilience and cause you to have a lack of motivation, if that makes sense. Hope that answers your question.
You got some questions in the chat. Sorry.
Okay. Which one is it? Is important to have a safe place to go to, such as nature? Like, yeah, definitely, it's important to have a safe place to go to. You know what's funny though? Everyone's safe place is different. Some people's safe place could be in a crowd. It could be in a busy, high street. I feel safe there with all these people around. Nature's just one for me. I like silence, but if you are somebody that feels actually I like walking down a busy road, then that's your safe place. It's what's safe to you. As long as it actually really is safe and you're not at any harm. And yeah. Someone's talking, but
While they're typing the question, I'm gonna take the opportunity to ask you another question.
sure.
So, with the new generations and the new technologies, yeah, we have like our habits change a lot. Where we spend a lot of time on social media. We spend a lot of time on even like school. I do school online personally, and we don't really have interactions with other people. And how do you think how badly do you think it affects the new generation, and how do you think it will affect them in the future?
Oh, that's a tough one. What's funny is that so also I do work with primary school children, and sometimes I do have clients that have issues with getting enough attention at home because of course they got parents that might be on technology and on their phones. So but in terms of maybe just connecting with people, as I said, it is a barrier. I believe it is a barrier personally, and it can be a barrier even connecting with yourself, as I said. I understand if you have to do it for school and stuff like that, that's fine. But I think maybe just evaluate how much time you're spending on technology. There's a different connection being in person. Personally, therapy is even good to do via chat, but it just feels so different having that person in front of you where possible, that human connection. You can just read each other's body, body language, you're mirroring each other sometimes. So, I mean, personally, I think it's all about moderation. And we are teaching a lot of parents that are younger generation that technology is definitely important and we can learn so much from it, but it is a barrier. And I think that's just maybe my personal opinion, but I do think everything in moderation. And actually, that's one of the things I've incorporated in my life, actually stepping away from technology, limiting my phone, leaving it completely turned off. I don't have a lot of social media accounts personally. That's just my thing, but because I find them too much of a distraction for myself. But if I have to use them for work purposes, then of course, yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. That's where we are as a society at this time. But yeah, moderation.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome,
have a
man.
question. Is there certain mental health disorders that you would say are harder to cope with than others? And if so, what is a good coping mechanism?
Sorry, repeat that. Sorry, one time.
Is there certain mental health disorders that you would say are harder to cope with than others? And if so, what's a good coping mechanism?
Yeah, I think first of all, as I always say, it's awareness. It always begins with awareness. It always begins with knowing what your struggle is. If you do have a mental illness, you need that knowledge. You need to be well informed, and you need to be so that you then can know what will work for you, because it's all about because different things. I mean, this is just broad, but like, all right, I work with children with ASD as well, and adolescents with ASD. Sure. So basically, some of them like sensory play, they like to sensory stuff, a coping mechanism for them might be to do around sensory activities. They wouldn't probably perhaps want to write something down. They wouldn't perhaps want to even sit still. If you have ADHD, you might need something a bit high energy, or something both high energy and calming to do. So it's always about whatever your mental health situation is, that you can then tailor something to it that will work for you. And plus, like, going back to ADHD, there's different forms of ADHD, low functioning, high functioning. So again, you have to find that balance. You know, some people think, okay, I have ADHD, I just need to have high energy stuff. I just need to make sure. You will never tire out. You will never tire out if you're high functioning. So that's not going to work for you. You need to learn. All right, you need high energy things, but you also need something that you can learn to regulate your emotions. So winding down, calming down. So learning what you're meant to, having that awareness is always key, I'll say, if that answers your question.
Thank you.
Zainab, do you have a question too
Before we round it up?
Yes, my question is that not many people know that they have mental health problem. So how can we make them realize it?
So they don't. Give me an example though. Because yeah,
Many
okay.
people realize that they have depression.
Oh, okay.
Or, how can we make them realize it?
Yeah, I think it's with depression, it's always about motivation, isn't it? So it'll be good for you to do, get your awareness on that topic, that you can kind of then drop that hint. If it was motivation, depression, I'll be thinking about, okay, what's your day-to-day life like? Oh, can you hear me all right? Yeah. Okay, what's your day-to-day life like? If I'm seeing that they lack motivation to do daily things, then maybe I will come from that standpoint of, I'm just noticing, that, situation motivation. I wouldn't perhaps talk about depression, but I'll just say, the key things I've noticed that, you find this and that hard to do, and maybe where's that lack of motivation coming from? So never go in perhaps diagnosing anybody, but just go and naming what you see with obviously the utmost love that you can, even. I just noticed, I've been asking you to come out a lot with me, but there seems to be an issue that you don't come out. I'll come round to your house and chill, but then maybe just bringing that awareness about the motivation. So whatever the situation is, you can find something without naming what the mental health is, but a symptom that you're identifying, to let them know. Does that help? Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for that, David. That was very insightful, and I'm sure we all took something from that. We really appreciate it. We're going to be going on another short break now, and after that we've got Rafaela here to talk about the world of food on a budget. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can I start my cooking session?
Alia, are you here?
We have
Yeah.
a break for 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm here. If you want to start now, we're happy to have you start.
Oh, perfect. I'm ready.
Okay, brilliant.
And before showing, of course, I will talk while I will prepare this sandwich. Is a healthy sandwich, first of all, and is on a budget, and is under 10 pounds and very healthy. So there are a lot of ingredients, and I really do it in a healthy way, and I mix the ingredients in the best thing. So wait, so let's see now. I have this baguette. I'll cut it in half. We can use the oven so it can be warm. And in the meantime, I always use some olive oil to spread on it. Salt. Some pepper. Black and a bit of red pepper, because it goes well with other ingredients that I have. I'll use some pomodorini or these small tomatoes, like cherry tomatoes. Parsley. I'll use a mix of greens, like spinach or other greens that are very useful for our body. I'll use some lemon, because spinach is, if we want to get the iron from spinach, we have to use pine nuts or lemons, only in this way. Otherwise, if we eat spinach without this, we cannot get the iron. So I'll use a bit of lemon juice. I have some mozzarella here. And avocado. I like mixing ingredients, and it can be personalized. We can use whatever ingredients we would like to add in our sandwich, and it can be on-go sandwich, or we can use it even on lunchtime. And I'll use, we can use it as a vegetarian, or we can add some salami, and it can be more delicious for those that are meat lovers. And then if we want to use the toast, we can use the toast, or we can eat it as it is, because it's prepared in, I don't know how many minutes I've been talking, but it's prepared in less than 5 minutes. And other ingredients that are left, we can use for other days, or for salads, or share with others. I know that I'm very fast, but I really like cooking. I will make a small presentation for myself. My name is Rafaela, and I'm from Albania, a small country in Western Balkans. And I'm really happy that every one of you is hearing me now, and I'm part of this wonderful webinar, because I heard even the previous speakers that they were talking about mental health, and this is a really big issue worldwide, and we really have to take care about ourselves and our friends, because within us everything can come possible if we want the great will, and if we want to be with them in these difficult times. And as nowadays everything is unstable, unsure, we always have to be prepared for everything. So being healthy and mentally good is very important. And of course, food is one of those things that really affects. If someone of you have any questions, I'm very happy to answer.
I found that really interesting. I've never put lemon in a sandwich before.
Really? You can put even lemon zest. You can put the lemon zest as well. It goes very good. Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely going to try that. So thank you for that tip.
Try, and even actually lemon goes very well even with avocado.
Ooh, I'll try that one too.
And if you make a sauce only with avocado, lemon juice, and olive oil, of course, salt and pepper. It's very good. Simple, healthy, light.
Thank you for
Yeah,
that. I think Asil's bursting to ask the question as well. Asil?
actually.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry. So yeah, my question is, there's a lot of trends about like ketogenic diets and other kind of diets online, yeah, and OMAD, like eating one time a day, fasting for 16 hours, and etc. etc. And I wanted to have your insights on this actually. If you have if you recommend them, if you disrecommend them, etc.
You mean for fasting food?
Everything that that's online, that we see a lot online, like certain diets, certain fasting, eating once a day, and a lot of stuff like that.
No, for me, in my opinion, it's better to have three main meals, to eat three main meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can combine it based on your body type. So it's very important to know your body first and to have a healthy diet. As I come from a Mediterranean country, we use olive oil and citrus fruits a lot. So having these things like vitamin C keeps your body very fit. I'm pro having and knowing other cultures. Yeah, vitamin C, but you can use it in a natural way. You can eat citrus fruits, and that's the best thing because you can have other combinations in your tablets. So I'm not pro. Oh, that's cool. Citrus everywhere. Another way that where you can find citrus or vitamin C is peppers, red peppers and berries. All of berries have vitamin C. So regarding your question, I do not recommend eating once per day because you'll be starving. Or there are people that can eat a sandwich, but I did the sandwich because it was the fastest thing to show to you. But eating meals with spoon is the best thing, like proper meals, have homemade, because bread is still bread.
Thank you for that. I think we've got some more questions in the chat here.
Yeah, and I couldn't. Oh, I remember the first question was what's the best bread to take on a budget? Okay, I scored myself today and I took baguette that it was 1 pound, but there are a lot of varieties. I'm in Northern Ireland and here are a lot of like soda bread, for example, is very famous. And for those that are not lazy, you can make I'm not saying bread, but you can make some pita or crepe that it goes very well. You can make a raw one or different varieties. The best thing, the best foods that can, for me, the advice that is very important is food has to be eaten within the day. But one best thing can be pasta or soups. I would go with soups because they are very very good for our body, very digestive in the same time, and you take more energies. So a soup that I would recommend is very simple. I can say the ingredients right now: carrots, potatoes, because the UK is the land of potatoes. Carrots, potatoes. You can put some, for those that like onions. You can put an onion like it is, and some broccoli and cauliflower. You put them all together like a vegetable broth. After they are boiled, you can use the mixer or they can be as they are, and you can serve with, of course, seasoned with olive oil and black pepper and salt. Yeah, actually.
What would you recommend to someone who has digestive issues? Not me. I'm asking for a friend.
Ah, uh, for these liquid things are water first, olive oil, uh, all these green things like cabbage or savoy cabbage, spinach, other greens or salads are very good for everyone, and not only for those that can have some problems with their digestive system, but for everyone. Liquid things, not fast food.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm basically doomed because I do all this already.
Oh, good, good. That's good. So, and where are you from?
Originally, or
Originally,
yeah,
originally.
from the Middle East.
Ah, okay. So that's why we have almost the same.
Okay, thank you for that, Rafaela.
You're welcome.
I hope everyone took something from that. I know I did. I'm definitely going to try a bit of lemon next time.
Yes, that's right. And if someone else would have some other questions or would like any kind of recipe that I can share, feel free.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your sandwich.
Thank you.
But we're going to take another short 10-minute break now. And after that, we'll be back with Natasha to show us how to get our glow.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
everybody, we hope you're back and you've had your 10 minutes break. I'd now like to introduce another MSFDN member we have here with us today. She will be talking about how to get your glow and look after skincare. So please be respectful and keep your microphones off. Save your questions for afterwards and let's take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Tasha and welcome to Get Your Glow, and today I'll be talking about different skin types and I'll also be demonstrating my personal morning and nighttime skin routine. I'll also be sharing some tips and advice on how to keep your skin glowing and how to keep it healthy. So to start off, there are about 4 different skin types that you might have, which are usually determined by genetics. And so the condition of our skin can vary. So it is very important that you take care of your skin and listen to it when it does speak to you. So in no particular order, to start off, the first skin type is oily skin type. And this usually produces excess amount of sebum, which can cause the skin to appear really shiny and feel very greasy, especially in the T-zone areas, which is your chin, your forehead, and your nose. And you're most likely to have enlarged pores, which can develop acne, blemishes, and also you are a bit more prone to acne breakouts. And the best way for you to take care of your oily skin is to wash your face regularly with warm water and a gentle soap. This can usually reduce the amount of oil that's on the skin and stop you from adding any excess oils that you don't actually need, especially into your pores. Using a toner as well is quite good, but when using a toner, beware of using astringent toners that usually contain alcohol. The alcohol tends to dry out your skin a lot, and obviously if you've got really oily skin, you don't really want to do that. You don't want to strip away any oils that are actually good for your skin. And also after washing your face, it is advised to pat your face dry instead of rubbing. This may cause your skin to get irritated and just not take in all the minerals that is actually needed into your skin. Using blotting papers and medicated pads is usually advised, and just normal cotton wool pads if you've got any lying around to your face best. And when it comes to looking for the right products, it is all a bit of a trial and error kind of thing. You do have to go through quite a few products to find one best for you. It took me ages to find out the right routine for me and the right skincare products. I will go through it when it's time for me to do the demonstration. But yeah, so that's basically what oil skin and any oils and minerals that are going into your pores. Having long baths and having long showers may also remove the essential oils from your skin and strip that away, leaving it dry. And your skin may become irritated by this. When you are shaving, for those that do like shave with razors and stuff, try to shave carefully and in the direction that your hair is growing, so that you can avoid any ingrown hairs and any bumps and cuts and all sorts of different things. Also lubricate your skin before shaving, and it's important to apply a shaving cream or a gel. Aloe vera is quite good, or just any shaving cream is quite good for the face. And lastly, moisturizing the skin is the most important. For those that do have a normal type, a skin type, using any type of moisturizer is okay. Not too oily, not too water-based, just anything in between should be all right. And drinking loads of water, either way, which depending, no matter what skin type you have, drinking enough water will definitely increase, it will definitely make your skin look good, and you will feel good as well. And the third skin type is dry skin. And with dry skin, this is mostly just, you basically just have dry skin, and your skin doesn't take in, it does take in the moisture, but it doesn't keep it there. It just keeps sucking, they're at the right texture that will help that dryness in your skin. Wearing lip balms and lip moistures, especially drinking plenty of water, will keep your face and lips hydrated, and using a gentle fragrance-free skincare product will definitely help your skin as well keep those minerals and those oils in your pores. Again, when it comes to looking at products and what works best for you, there is a lot of trial and error. You have to, try out different things to see which suits you best. And sometimes it's not always going to be like in the same company. So you may have to branch out and try out different things, different toners. There may be a blemish stick that you could try, or you could use certain oils for certain parts of your face. Depending on your skin type, you may need to look after your face differently in different areas. But yeah, and lastly, try to avoid using harsh laundry detergents and clothing that is irritating, because obviously as we're putting our clothes on, it is rubbing against our face as well. And yeah, the harsh detergents, it does sit with your skin. If you have dry skin on your body, not just on your face, it will irritate your skin as well if you are using a harsh detergent. So yeah, that is dry skin. And the last skin type is a combination of both normal and dry. And this is quite common, actually. This is a quite common skin type. And to have normal and dry skin type is basically when there are certain places where it's dry and certain places where it's normal. So you may have a dry T-zone, for example, which is your forehead, again, your nose and your chin. I actually have quite an oily nose, so I try to avoid adding oils onto my nose, and when I'm putting makeup on, I try to put quite a lot of primer, or I try to powder it before putting any makeup on, because sometimes it doesn't look very nice when your nose is oily and you've got makeup on. But yeah, so again, you may need to, if you do have a combination of both oily, dry and normal skin, you may have to look after these areas differently. So again, you may have to put more oil maybe on your forehead or on your chin more, or on your nose more if your nose is quite dry, or under your eyes. And when it comes to having a combination of both, your pores tend to look a lot more larger than normal because they are open. So the best way for you to take care of your pores is to wash your face with a gentle facial cleanser and gently exfoliate your face, and try to avoid using harsh products again on your face, and harsh scrubs if you don't use your hands. And also, again, drinking plenty of water and moisturizing your face often, washing your face twice a day. And another thing that we don't realize that we do is we tend to touch our face quite a lot. And when we're out and about, we do so much with our hands. Even when we're in the house, we touch so many different things, and sometimes we don't realize that, oh, like, I've touched something dirty. We don't always wash our hands straight away, or just clean our hands, and we end up scratching an itch, or adjusting glasses, and that's just all adding bacteria onto your face and clogging up your pores. So it's natural to scratch your face, or just rest your hands onto your face, but you do have to kind of be aware of where you're putting your hands, and just try and reduce how much you touch your face, because again, we are out and about and doing a lot with our hands. And in addition to that, the way to get rid of any excess oils that you do have on your face is by blotting away with a pad again, or with a gentle medical pad that you have, and this will prevent any shines that you don't want in in certain areas. also treating your complexion to a face mask is recommended. And I know that guys don't always like to do face masks because they may think that it's like a girl's thing, but actually, you know, you may find it quite soothing and therapeutic, and it will actually help with your skin. It doesn't have to be everywhere. It can just be in the places where maybe you do have acne or you do have those blemishes. So that could just again be on your forehead and just on your nose, under your eyes, and that's it really. I usually put the mask everywhere just because I want to, but you can just put it in the places where it's necessary. And again, keeping yourself hydrated, drinking plenty of water, keep round your eyes hydrated and your lips especially. And especially during winter as well, because it is so cold, our skin does tend to get dried out. So moisturizing as often as you can is advised, and drinking plenty of water. And yeah, so I will actually want to talk about an experience I had when I broke out for the first time. It made me feel really bad about myself, actually. I went through the stage. It was very random. There was I just started breaking out like ridiculously, literally everywhere, and there were just spots everywhere, and it left really dark marks. And you know, I felt so insecure about myself, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this has never happened to me before. If I get spots, it's usually like just one, and I had no idea what to do. I was trying out so many different products, and there are certain things that just weren't working. There was one thing that actually did help me was a face mask called the Aztec face healing mask or something like this. And it's basically like a clay mask, and you mix it with either a toner or apple cider vinegar, and you mix it into a paste and you put it all over your face. And it's recommended to leave it on for about 20 minutes, but because my skin was so bad and I felt so bad, I left it on for like 40 minutes every time because I just wanted it gone. But I did that for a couple of days, not every day, every couple of days, and actually within about a week or two it did dry up those spots that I had. It completely dried up the spots, and I just kept using a toner and a cleanser and moisturizing my face and exfoliating my face twice a day, and actually it did really help. Eventually it stopped all the spots from coming through, and it dried them all up. And with the toner that I was using, it did even out my face. That is another thing that a toner does. During my demonstration, I will show you. But yeah, that's my little story there. And it can definitely impact your mental health because, you know, we don't hide our face every single day. You could, but it's your face, you know, it will be out in the open all the time. And if you're not looking after your face well and you're not drinking water well, your face will definitely show that. If you're not eating well, especially, the oils that we eat and the food that we eat, has oils and just a lot of ingredients that actually is not always very healthy for us. So that can definitely show in our face and through our pores. And so just being mindful of that is actually quite important. And that can definitely impact our mental health because obviously, you know, sometimes we beat ourselves up. It's like, okay, well, it's happened now. There's nothing, like I'm trying all these different products and nothing's working. But you have to remember that, you know, you have to keep trying and keep trying until you find that product that actually works for you, because there is definitely something out there that works for you. And you can either go to a GP if you're having acne problems, or you can go to a therapist and speak to them about it. But yeah, just taking general care of your face definitely impacts your mental health. And, you know, when you look good, you feel good as well. So you have to put that work in to make sure that actually, you know, you are doing all the right things necessary. And, you know, sometimes our face, it speaks to us, our body speaks to us, you know. So if I've put a certain cream on my face, and an hour later I feel that my face has gone really dry, it's like I haven't put anything on there. I should really second guess that product that I'm using. That may not be the best product for me. It may just be that it's actually stripping my face and the essential oils that my face is needing, you know. So then I would branch out and look for something, do some research on my skin type and what products is best for my skin type. And now I don't know if we have time to do demonstration. Okay, so right, I'm gonna do my demonstration, my skincare routine. I'm gonna do my morning one. So what I would do is basically I would wash my face. Yeah, let's just add to the wash my face. I'd wash my face, and I would then use this toner that I have here. It's called a witch hazel toner, and this just, it smooths out the face, and it leaves your face feeling cleansed and toned and refreshed. So I've got a cotton pad here, and I'm just going to open that up and just put a few drops onto the cotton pad, just like that, and then just wipe my face and this just gets rid of the excess dirt. So after you've had a shower, you can use this and it will just get rid of any dirt that you haven't, that wasn't cleaned off properly. And from there it will make your face feeling refreshed. Right, so once I've done that, that's the cotton pad done. Once I've done that, I then have this caffeine solution, which is, it just goes around the eyes. This is an ordinary product. This is what works best for me. And it's not very oily. It's just like I don't know, it's like a gel almost consistency, and it reduces the appearance of eye color and pigmentation and of puffiness. So it has a little pipette thing here that allows me to, you know, put in the right amount. And because your eye area is not very big, you don't need a huge amount. So just one drop. I usually put one drop for each eye. I've noticed that I put one drop for both eyes. So one drop for each eye would be a bit too much, if you understand what I mean. So I would then rub the tip of my index fingers together and just apply it all around my eyes, the top and the bottom. And I will keep doing this until I feel that it's completely gone into my skin. Okay, so I just keep rubbing around, and just be careful to not get it in your eyes. If it does get into your eyes, you can just wash your eyes out and start again. But yeah, so I just do that until it's completely gone into my skin. Okay, now that feels completely dry. That's gone into my skin now. And following that, I then use this absorbic acid solution, which has got a lot more, it's a lot more oily than the caffeine solution. And this is what I use to moisturize my face. So I just drop that onto my palm there. About 2 to 3 drops is enough. And I just put that onto my face. I just put that onto my face there and massage it in all over until my face is completely moisturized. Okay, and I try to put it all over my neck as well. Okay, so this product that I used just now was the affiliated absorbic acid solution. You can see that, YouTuber, right? Okay, so once I've applied that onto my face does feel a lot more moisturized now, and it feels a lot softer and a lot more bouncy. And if you feel like you may need more, if your face is, if you have got dry skin and you feel like you need to add more, by all means. If you have got oily skin and you are using a product that's water-based, add the amount that you feel like your face is fully moisturized. And if you have oily skin, then, you know, using a water-based product again, and vice versa. Okay, so that is my morning routine done. And for my nighttime routine, it's basically the same concept, but I would use, to wash my face, I would use the squalene cleanser. Okay, and this is a face cleanser, and it's also a makeup remover. This is very good. It comes out in a white consistency. I don't know if you can see that there. It's almost like a cream, but once you have rubbed it into your skin and warmed it up, it turns into an oil. It turns a lot more oily. You can see that. It turns a lot more oily, and then I would apply this onto my face before washing my face, and I would leave it for about a minute to 30 seconds to a minute, just to allow it to seep in and, you know, get rid of any dirt that's on my face. Once that's done, I will then rinse my face off with lukewarm water, either with a flannel or just with my hands, just, you know, however the day is going. And then I would then pat my face dry with either a pad or some wool, just a pad, or sometimes a towel. I've got normal skin, so I don't think a towel would be too harsh on my skin. I would then use this toning solution for my nighttime routine. And I only use this at night. This is not recommended to use twice a day or in the morning. This just allows the toning solution to stay onto your face and really do what it needs to do onto your face. I would then again go in with the cotton pad and put a few drops onto the cotton pad and completely wipe my face away of any oils that I didn't get rid of while washing my face. I would then use a baby oil to moisturize my face. Again, I've got normal skin, so I'm okay with using any moisturizer. But like I said, I have got quite an oily nose, so I avoid using the baby oil around my nose, and I would maybe use a primer, or I just won't put I will put a water-based product onto my nose and then use the baby oil for everywhere else. And yeah, so that is my morning and nighttime routine. If you have any questions about the products, just type it in the chat. Okay, I see that we have 40 questions, yeah. Okay, I see we've got quite a lot of questions. Do you need a morning and nighttime routine? I wouldn't say you need it, but depending on your skin type. So I try to wash my face twice a day, just to give it that extra cleanse. But if you are using the right products in the morning, at night maybe just to wash your face just one last time, and then maybe put a quick toner and maybe a night cream around your eyes to reduce puffiness for the morning. But if I was to advise on a morning and night, I would say yes. But again, it depends on your skin type. If you feel like your skin requires it, then by all means you can have both morning and night. Oily skin may require both, just because by the end of the day your nose may have excess oils, or your forehead or your chin. But yeah, so that's my advice when it comes to morning and nighttime routine. And when it comes to dry skin, you may want to do it once a day, because you don't want to keep stripping that water and the oils away from your skin. what product would you recommend for someone with eczema? So that is mostly, eczema is dry skin. So I would recommend an ointment instead of using a moisturizer or a cream. I would say E45 has helped a lot of people. E45, any creams that has got necessary oils for your dry skin would be recommended. When girls are on their periods, some of us get really bad acne. What are the best products to use? It would help a lot. Yeah, actually, I could say I'm one of those girls. I may get a few spots here and there. What I do is I actually have a blemish stick, which is basically, it's just a little stick, and I would usually put it on before cleansing my face with the toner, or I put it on after. It doesn't really matter which order you go in, but I would just apply it onto each spot, and this will basically reduce the blemishes. It would reduce the oils from getting out, and it will soothe the skin over. So I would recommend maybe a blemish stick or using a toner to tone your face, and definitely exfoliate your face as well. If you do get a lot before sleeping, exfoliate your face. And another thing that we don't realize as well is sometimes our pillowcases, if we haven't washed it often enough, that can cause acne as well. And the type of detergent that we're using can cause acne, because again, you're putting your face on that pillow. So if your detergent is harsh, it will be harsh to your face. Use bioliquids, black one, warmish water. Okay. When it started. Well, you just have to try and keep track and try and feel like your face maybe a couple hours of using it, and maybe a couple hours before, and see the difference there, and see, okay, actually my face is getting drier, or actually my face is getting oilier from this product. And then from there you'll be able to determine whether you need an oil-based product, or you need a water-based product, or an ointment, or a moisturizer that's okay for all skin types. What would you suggest for someone with sensitive skin? I would definitely suggest, again, no harsh detergents and harsh clothing, and try to not wash your face with cold water, using lukewarm water and a fragrance-free product, a soap, a gentle soap as well. Try not to, if you do use like a loofah, or maybe the gloves, the scrub gloves, or whatever you've got that you use to shower yourself with or to wash your face, just make sure that it's not too harsh, so that it's not scratching your skin. And obviously, if you do have sensitive skin, you have to read the the ingredients, to see what the first ingredient is. And usually with sensitive skin, water, it would be the recommended first ingredient, only because water is soothing to our skin, and our skin absolutely loves water, whether you're drinking it or putting it on your face. So I would say look for water-based products and avoid using harsh detergents and things to wash your face. We get bad spots when we wear face masks during COVID. Yeah, definitely. I definitely experienced this as well, getting a few breakouts and whatnot around my chin. In that case, I mean, because it's not something that we can really change. I mean, maybe try to change your masks often, so that you're not leaving that same mask on for such a long time, because it does build up on bacteria, and it does collect dust, and you're speaking in it, and all this stuff is going into your mask. So maybe try changing your mask a lot more often than the recommended time to change it. I think they recommend you to change it every 4 hours, but maybe try changing it every 2 hours if you have noticed that actually it does break out your face. Is there any products you've noticed to avoid or don't mix well? Personally, anything I don't mix well, I would say an oily cream and a moisturizer for me. That does work for me, but an oil-based product and a water-based product doesn't mix well, because if you think about it, oil and water doesn't mix anyway. So putting those two on your face, it may work for certain areas, but in others, like again, if you do have just an oily nose or an oily T-zone, you don't want to put oil on there and water everywhere else. So I would say just look for products that suit your skin type best and go for the opposite. So if you do have oily skin, you would go for a water-based product, and if you have normal skin, you can have any moisturizer really. If you have dry skin, look for a product that is a lot more oily so that your skin can absorb those oils. Hope that answers your question. Third question, is eating bad foods or drink affect our skin? And if so, what can we do for both genders? Food and drink can definitely affect your skin. If you are eating food, junk food and food with a lot of oils, then those oils will definitely show on your face. If you are overeating these oily foods, your face will get very oily and it will show by acne and little pimples here and there. That's just basically those oils trying to get out. So again, like I said earlier, you have to listen to your body. If you can see that a few spots have come up and you look back and think, okay, for the last couple of days I've been eating McDonald's for breakfast, lunch and dinner, then that's probably why you've got acne and breakouts happening, because you're not taking care of your diet. So again, drinking lots of water and avoiding fizzy drinks, and eating a lot of fruit and vegetables and things that have a natural ingredients, natural sugars, natural sweetness is definitely recommended. I'd say I'd avoid anything that's artificial, anything that's too oily, to avoid those breakouts. And yeah, it's the same for both genders really. And things like going to the gym and drinking lots of water and putting on a lip balm. I know men, not all of them, not every guy likes to moisturize their lips, like put on Vaseline or a lip balm, because again, it may look a bit feminine, but actually this may help you. Even if it's just before you go to bed, you can quickly moisturize your lips to ensure that even while you're sleeping, your lips are moisturized. So when you wake up, it doesn't, you don't wake up with dry lips or a dry face, if that makes sense. Do we have any other questions? Okay. I just wanted to talk a little bit about how this can also affect your mental health. And when we eat foods that aren't healthy for us, this can make us feel down. And when that happens, it does show on our face as well, meaning the breakouts will happen, and the acne will happen. And if you're not taking care of your skin and really listening and using the right products and looking up the right products, and again going through that trial and error where you have to try out one product and try that out for a couple of weeks and see how your skin is doing from there. I remember when I first started using this product here, I was using it wrongly. At first, when I first started using it, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, this is like really doing a lot for my skin. And I completely ignored the instructions in the back where it said you shouldn't use this during the day, or you shouldn't use it twice a day. I was actually doing that because I thought, yeah, I mean, it worked the first time, why not, kind of thing, to get that extra glow. And actually it was tearing my skin apart. it was drying out my skin so much under my eyes and on my forehead and on my chin. I noticed that my chin was getting quite dry and, you know, my skin was peeling under my eyes. So then I did read the instructions again, and I actually followed the ideal directions, which is to just use it at night. So, you know, following that and keeping that up, you know, reading the instructions and reading the ingredients and making sure that the ingredients does actually match your skin type is very important, you know, because like I said earlier, when you look good, you feel good, you know. And if you are struggling to find the right products for you, or you are struggling with acne breakouts and you've tried all the products and you've spent money on so many different products and you've gone to people and asked for advice, maybe go to your GP. They could probably prescribe you with something that might work. And again, it's literally just all about trial and error. You have to try out different products to know which one fits you. And I think this one is actually quite amazing because it almost moisturizes your face as well. And that's another thing, looking for, if you do have dry skin, maybe your wash product could be a moisturizer as well as just a wash product, you know, so that when you do get out of the shower and you do pat your face dry, it's not completely dry, it's still got a bit of moisture in there. And, you know, that will then allow your face to absorb all the right moistures and not be stripped of anything, of any of the essential oils, and definitely keeping your eyes hydrated as well. We're always blinking and we don't realize how much we do blink, and our eyes are moving around all the time, and our eyes do get very tired. One thing that I did used to use was like an eye spray. So when I would feel like actually my eyes are getting tired and they do feel a bit dry, I would just spray my eyelids with this eye spray and my eyes would like refresh and they would feel really great. So little things like that, when you notice little things like that, you know, if you were to just like rub your face and it feels dry in certain areas, then maybe you have a combination of normal and dry skin. You can then start branching out, doing some research on what products would fit best for maybe just your forehead or just your chin. And yeah, like with the baby oil, there are some people, for me, baby oil is on my face, it stays, but like if I was to use it on my body now, it wouldn't stay. My body after an hour or so would go completely dry, whereas with my face it would be all right because it's a lot more oily. So then those little things you have to take into consideration and think, okay, cool, my body's not taking in the moisture but my face is, they must be two different skin types. So I would then look for a product that is a lot more oily for my body. And yeah, so using cotton pads as well, that is another thing. If you were to feel the texture of a cotton pad and it feels rough and you have dry skin, I'd avoid using a cotton pad. Maybe using, there are cotton pads out there that actually have a toner or have a moisturizer in it. And yeah, so that would basically like help when it comes to dry skin. And there are some that has a cleansing liquids in it as well, so maybe you don't have to use a facial cleanser, you could just use that pad. But yeah, to round that off, basically look after your skin, drink plenty of water, make sure you read the ingredients and listen to your skin when it talks to you, and do a lot of research on your skin type and the best products for your skin. So yeah, that is Get Your Glow, and I just want to say thank you so much for listening, guys, and I hope you've all taken something from that. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
We're going to go on a quick break now. Yeah? We're going to have a quick 5-minute break.
Hello everyone, hope you're back from your break. Unfortunately, the seminar is starting to come to an end. I know, very sad, but we will be back tomorrow. To finish us off tonight, we have another MSFDN member here, Chianne. She's going to talk to us about the art of journaling and how to get started with it. Please, as always, keep your mics on mute and save your questions until the speaker addresses you. Hello everyone, I'm going to be speaking to you about the art of journaling. Welcome to the session today. What is journaling? In its simplest form, journaling is simply writing down your thoughts and ideas, much like the diaries many of us kept in our childhoods. However, often journaling takes it a step further than simply recounting your day by adding an emotional aspect. Many people take the time to reflect on the day at both the beginning and the end of the day and analyse how it makes them feel. The way they can look for patterns that affect their mental health and utilise positive coping strategies. Often, journaling is an outlet for creative talents too. People spend hours decorating the pages to make them beautiful, in both as a form of self-expression and as a way to relax. Commonly, people journal about their thoughts and feelings, to-do lists, goals they're working towards, and reflecting on their day. What are the benefits of journaling? Journaling can help you achieve goals. Large goals may seem overwhelming, but being able to keep track of the progress you are making towards these each day will help you keep motivated. Keep track of your progress and growth. Living in the moment of day to day, it can be difficult to see the larger picture and appreciate the progress you have made. Being able to keep track of your progress will allow you to see yourself moving towards your goals, or notice that you are not making the progress you want to and take the appropriate action. Help maintain mental health by reducing stress. The simple act of writing your thoughts down on a page allows you to look at them in a more objective manner and come away from making rash emotional decisions. This is therapeutic and will help you maintain a positive mental mindset. Additionally, doodling and making something creative has a calming effect on your mind. Keeping organised. Writing things down is the best way to keep organised. This also has the knock-on effects for being positive for your mental health. Help remember events and experiences better. Writing things down just after they happened will help you remember much more detail when you come to reminisce in the years to come. It will improve your writing skills. As you know, practice makes perfect. Gain confidence, seeing the progress you have made and all the things you have achieved written down together will definitely improve your confidence. Now I'm going to speak to you about the types of journaling. Stream of consciousness. Write down your thoughts as they happen. The words and thoughts don't need to make sense. You're simply capturing your thoughts in action. Sorry, I'm going to play a video for you to all see. So guys, I'm gonna stop that video there. I hope you got a little something from that. I'm gonna carry on with the types of journaling. So, like I was saying, the stream of consciousness. When you write down your thoughts as they happen, the words and thoughts don't need to make sense. You're simply capturing your thoughts in action. Day's events journal. Keep track of your experiences throughout the day, whether it's making note of a funny conversation or describing a new recipe you enjoyed. A to-do list. Instead of keeping a running tally of to-do items in your head, write them down. You can cross things off as you complete them and get a great sense of accomplishment. A food journal. Make a note of what you eat every day. This will help you be more mindful about the food you choose to eat. If you're struggling with a healthy lifestyle, documenting what you've been eating can offer insight into areas you may need to change. A fitness journal. This can keep track of your workouts so you can stay committed to an active lifestyle. The best part of keeping this type of journal is seeing the progress you made over time. Gratitude journal. Before going to sleep, make a list of everything you are thankful for that day, week, or month. A sketch journal. This can express your feelings, thoughts, and ideas through illustrations, doodles, or sketches. A dream journal. Take note of your dreams each night as a way of getting in touch with your subconscious. Remember to make your journal entries right when you wake up. I'm going to speak to you now about ways to journal. A reflection journaling. This might be the most common form of journaling that you might recognise and is similar to that of keeping a diary and reflecting on the day or week that you just finished. Simply reflect on a period of time. It may be the past, the last year, month, week, or day, and write what comes to mind. What happened? How did it make you feel? What did you learn? How does this make you think about the future? Journaling with question prompts. Similar to reflection journaling, prompts can help you reflect on experiences that you might not immediately think of. Journaling prompts can guide you to answer some of the deeper questions you might not be used to talking about. It can be a lot easier to write about the nice lunch you had with a friend yesterday than your deepest, darkest fears. Here are 5 journaling prompts for building mental resilience. What are you grateful for in your life? What would you do if you had no fear? What's weighing you down right now? What would you tell your younger self? Letter writing journaling. Dear diary, you might want to write as if you are writing to your diary or to yourself, now in the past or in the future, or to someone else in your life. Simply imagine you're writing that letter. It's completely fine to write a letter to someone but not actually send it. It can be really therapeutic. You might actually want to send it after all, and that's okay too. At the end of the day, journaling is a self-care practice and it's for you to do what you want with it. Journaling with visual prompts, photographs and affirmation cards. If you'd prefer a visual input for journaling, you can use photographs of yourself or others. You might want to write down the things that you'd like to say to the person in the photograph. This might be your younger self or a relative that you haven't been able to speak to in person or someone you've lost in your life. This practice can help pinpoint suppressed feelings and help you feel happier within yourself. Sketchbook and scrapbook journaling. If you enjoy creating art or being a bit more creative, you can use scrapbook or sketching to create your journal. How about drawing a simple sketch every day or every week to represent the events or your feelings? Planning and goal setting. You might think of using planning and goal setting for work, but you have ever planned how to manage your well-being? Using some of the techniques like SMART goals and writing about areas of your life that you'd like to work on can help intentions to move you further towards better health and happiness. SMART is an acronym that you can use to guide your goal setting. To make sure your goals are clear and reachable, each one should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. How to get started with journaling. Find the journaling techniques that work for you. Many people prefer keeping a paper journal because it helps them develop and express ideas more clearly. But putting pen to paper isn't the only way to journal. When you first begin writing, it's important to find the method that works best for you. You may find that ease using a laptop makes journaling more enjoyable for you. You also don't have to limit yourself to one method. Say you prefer handwriting, but you get a burst of inspiration during your morning commute on the subway. In that case, you can use the Notes app on your phone to jot down your thoughts before you forget them. Let's go off judgment. Write for your eyes only. There's no right or wrong way to journal. When you're writing, it's important to practice self-compassion and leave your inner critic at the door. Journaling is a judgment-free zone. Don't worry about things like grammar or spelling. You're writing for your eyes only, not for an audience. When you're self-critical or afraid someone will read your journal, you tend to censor yourself and be less authentic and honest. Keep expectations realistic. When you first begin journaling, don't expect to write pages upon pages filled with insightful thoughts. Having unrealistic expectations can actually discourage you from continuing your journey practice because you don't immediately see progress like any other habit. You need to set realistic goals and take baby steps in order to see results. Create a writing routine. It's easy to write on days when you're feeling inspired and motivated, but what about when you're not? Creating a writing routine and scheduling journaling time can help you stay on track, even on days when you're feeling uninspired. For example, you can set time aside every morning after breakfast or after evening, before bed even, if it's just 5 to 10 minutes. The time blocking method allows you to prioritise journaling and incorporate it into your schedule. Journal about anything that comes to mind when it comes to what you want to write about. The possibilities are limitless. You can write about your day, your thoughts, and your emotions, or something that's inspired you. You can also use it as an outlet to release heavy emotions like anger, frustration, or sadness. Putting these feelings down on paper can free you from having them lingering in your mind. Use journal prompts. There will be days when you'll start staring at your journal and have no idea what to write about. Don't fret. There are countless journaling prompts online that can help you overcome your writer's block. Here's a list of things you could journal about on the days you feel blocked. A list of things and people you're grateful for. A recent situation that's challenged you. An unsent letter to someone in your life. Small things that bring you joy throughout the day. The best decision you've ever made. Daily positive affirmations. Get creative. Don't be afraid to express yourself and be creative. Journal writing isn't just prose. It can be poetry, sketching, art, lyrics, or anything else that allows you to express yourself. Example. I'm going to give you some examples now. This is more basic example of a journal. A good place to start. Journaling doesn't need to be overcomplicated. Just write what you want to. Example 2. This is a little more complicated and the person has spent more time on the details. The mood check-in each day is something that is very useful and will help you notice patterns in your moods and what triggers particular highs and lows. The third example is this is a very elaborate journal. The type you often see on social media. It has many of the same elements as the other two, but much more decoration. If you want to spend the time to make something this beautiful, you go for it. But you don't need to have the level of detail for journaling to be beneficial. I'm gonna give you some quotes that you could take in that will help you with your journaling. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you. Every person has an untold story, and journaling is a way to make telling a story a reality. Fill your paper with the breathings of your heart. Write hard and clear about what hurts. If you're hurting inside, get that journal out and start writing in it. Preserve your memories, keep them well. What you forget you can never retell. Journaling is a way to preserve those memories. You can keep them in one spot and read them anytime you want. If you want to, give it a go later. We've given you a few starting points to help you. A list of things and people you're grateful for. A recent situation that challenged you. An unsent letter to someone in your life. Small things that bring you joy throughout the day. The best decision you've ever made. Daily positive affirmations. So that's it now for journalism. Is there any questions from anyone? Has anyone got any questions? So I've been asked, do I journal? So I don't journal now, but when I was younger, I would tend to write a diary and things like that. I would find it fun and it would take time out of my life, and obviously when I was younger I would go through a hard time, and writing in a diary, or as we say a journal, would help me a lot more. Do you think journaling can be therapeutic? Yeah, I do think it can be therapeutic, because it's taking your own thoughts and putting them on a piece of paper, and obviously that's going to get it out of your mind and hopefully help with a lot of stuff that's going on in your mind. But it definitely is therapeutic. I've been asked, can journaling be a good way to express mental health? Journaling, I think, can be a good way to express your mental health, because all the build up in your head, or maybe any issues, you can write it down on a piece of paper, and hopefully it will help you be able to talk to someone. If you feel like you can't talk to an actual person, you are kind of talking to yourself on a piece of paper, or it could be a good way to open up to a person by writing it down on a piece of paper. Has anyone got any more questions? Do you think journaling can be confidence boosting? I do think it will be a good confidence boost, especially if you can get far with it, because obviously there is careers out there that can be to do with journaling, and if you have that confidence you could go into something like that. Okay, well I'm gonna wrap that up here now, but it's been really nice to talk to you about journaling, and I hope you all enjoyed today's seminar. Thank you so much everyone for listening in.
Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing. What a start to the weekend for our first seminar. I just want to thank everyone here today. Thank you everyone for staying from start to the finish. Thank you to our amazing speakers.
Yes, it was really good, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow is all going to be all about professional development, and we hope to see you all there again. All right.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.